Good evening, my witches, wizards, and various other magical beasts. My name is Halcifer, and welcome back to another Sketchbook Monday video. If you're still somehow unordained to this ritual, this is the series in which I post videos of me drawing in my sketchbook, and I talk over them about what I'm drawing, or my week, or pretty much just like a body doubling video diary thing. I don't know. And then you watch along and possibly draw or write with me. It's, like I said, body doubling for the most part. Anyways, let's get into this week's recap. I don't have a whole lot to note this week, as I was quite busy. I had some family come up from out of state. I didn't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to sketching, but what I did do was pretty minimal. As you can see here, the first page is simply just some random stuff, random warm-up stuff, and then the second page is dedicated to poorly drawn cows. Saturday and Sunday, I actually got to go on a hike, and I picked a whole bunch of leaves that I thought were really cool, and I only got around to painting two of them. Two of the things I picked. And then the other page here is just some leafy doodles with some ideation in the corner for what we are going to do today. And that concludes the weekly recap. So let's get into the actual video. So, as you may well know, it is October. And as I've stated in the previous two videos, because of the spooky season, I have been following a prompt list for each week. Kind of like Drawtober, but I made the prompts. So it's my own creation. Haltober is what I'm gonna call it. I'm not gonna call it that. No. Anyways, this week's prompt was clown. However, I didn't have any ideas for clown, so I decided to take the last week's prompt and make it this week's prompt. So I will be dealing with clown next week. So this week we are doing haunt, and I thought it would be quite funny to draw a little 2-page spread comic of my characters kind of just experiencing a modern American haunted house. Because I love haunted houses, and I've only been to one, but it was fun, it was a good time. So I wanted to impose that trauma onto my characters, and we're gonna start that now. I'm probably gonna start putting what I use in my materials into the description of these videos so that I don't have to keep saying what I'm using, because I pretty much use the same thing every time. But for brevity's sake, and you know, one last hurrah without being too redundant, today I will be using artist PITT pens and Jelly Roll white ink pen and pencil and paper and a sketchbook. I guess all of that will be in the description. I don't fucking know. So as we sit here and watch me draw this little comic, I'm going to do something that I have not done yet before in this series, and I'm going to tell you a story. Yeah, that's right, bitch. It's story time. Let's go. Anyways, this story is about the first time I paid for and had a customer experience at a haunted trail. And I make that distinction because I have been, a couple times before this, I had been an actor in haunted trails. They weren't really public ones, but it was like a family haunt thing that we did for a while. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about those too at some point, but probably not today. So let's get into our story. And don't worry, it's not really anything crazy, I just thought it would fit the theme for today. So back in late October of 2022, I went to my very first haunt, which was called Nightmare New England. And it was overall like a really fun time. I'm pretty sure the theme was asylum, but there wasn't really anything that stuck out to me, in my memory at least, that kind of screamed, oh yeah, the theme is asylum. So I'm not like quite sure, but I digress. Anyways, one of my most prominent memories of this night was waiting in line. Pretty much how they had it set up was that they would have the crowd convene in a line so that people could be brought over to the main scare attraction in like groups, and we would be brought there by this hayride. So it was like before you got to the actual attraction, you would take a haunted hayride, which is pretty cool. But we were waiting in line for like 40 fucking minutes in the cold. It was cold. And they had like scare actors wandering through the line as well to just kind of amp people up for the attraction. And one of the persons in my group called one of the scare actors' daddy, and that kind of set the vibe for the evening, and we never had another scare actor walk up to us in the line after that. But we were pretty quick to get on the carriage, so. And I wish I could say that the carriage ride was, like, memorable, but it really wasn't that memorable from what I mean, if I can't really remember anything specific about the carriage ride to the attraction, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. I mean, it was just kind of a bunch of vaguely threatening scare actors chasing the carriage. When we got to the main attraction, it was, like, honestly really cool. They had so many, like, awesome props laying around. They had so many awesome props, like a gigantic skull buried in the grass, and one of the tents had this huge sculpture of a Venus flytrap that had it was supposed to have eaten one of the guests, pretty much. And it just, a lot of really cool visuals, awesome costumes, honestly. It was a really good time. And there were 3 haunted houses, I believe, or, what? I don't even know what to call them. They were like haunted houses, like structures that you went into and just kind of went through for scares. And we went into 3, and unfortunately for myself, I was wearing platform boots. I don't know why I made the decision to wear those. Every dark area that I had to navigate was a fucking ordeal, just to keep myself from breaking my ankles. And I'll just say, next time I go to a haunt, I'm wearing sneakers. It's not worth it. It really isn't. The first house we went into was kind of like an asylum theme, and it was pretty cool. We got pissed on by a toilet, which was an interesting event, I will say. I don't really remember a whole lot about this house because I was just really focused on walking forward and not tripping and eating shit. So, I mean, and also, like, there was a lot of flashing lights that were just pretty disorienting, so I don't really remember a whole lot of that one. But if I thought that one was bad, the next house we went into, you had to put on glasses to see, like, and these glasses, they, like, changed, like, colors. The color of certain things. I think they kind of were supposed to help with the blacklight effect in this other house. And let me just tell you, by the end of it, I don't remember anything in this house at all. Like, no, it's a blur of colors. A blur of colors and nausea is all I remember from this house. When I just remember when we got out, I was like, okay, we have to sit down. And we did. We went and sat down and had some fair food and just kind of were winding down for the night. And as I recall now, I remember looking around and just being like, there's not like a whole lot of people here. And it was kind of sad, but also like it was nice to not have a crowded fair venue. I don't remember anything about the third haunted house, but the rest of the night was super chill and pretty relaxed. They were giving out some nice hot cider, which was awesome. And they also had a couple scare actors come out that were on stilts in these very elaborate costumes, and that was awesome. I did take a few videos of those guys. And then we also had, I think he was a scare actor who must have been on break, but he was like super chill. He came up to us, he started talking to me about Dungeons and Dragons because I was wearing a Hellfire t-shirt at the time, and that was just, it was a pretty cool interaction. He was telling us about working for the Nightmare New England and just and pretty much just talking about how the event had been going for him. It was a pretty chill interaction. They had some pretty killer music going. I'd love to go back, honestly. It was a very positive experience. There were no sliders. This was before the slider epidemic kind of took hold, but it was a really fun experience, and I would love to go back and see how much has changed, because it has been 3 years. If you're into that kind of stuff, you should definitely support your local haunt. But just remember to be respectful to the scare actors. They're doing a job, of course. And keep in mind that everyone's there to just have a fun night. So don't punch anybody, okay? It's not gonna make you look tough. And let me tell you, you're gonna look real fucking stupid when a police officer has to escort your ass off of a haunted trail. But anyways, that is my experience with the first ever haunt that I was a visitor at. 10 out of 10, would do again. It was very fun. Anyways, let's see where we're at with this comic. So, as I mentioned before, this week's prompt is Haunt, and I thought it would be quite fun to have Draven, Gracie, and Adam exploring their first human haunted house. I figured Adam and Gracie would be much more on the scaredy cat side of this, and Draven is, I mean, that man's seen people get ripped limb from limb, so this would be incredibly tame for him, and he would be rather unfazed, I think. Bro's a little desensitized, we'll just say that. Anyways, I am now out of things to talk about, so listen to the music and just enjoy the time lapse, I guess. And voila! Here it is. I thought it'd be a little bit of a change of pace to do a comic for this week as opposed to an illustration. I often find myself being quite drawn to more narrative approaches to like an artistic structure or like drawing in general, so I very much enjoy doing comics. And I actually really like how this one came out. Despite its quickie sketchiness, I think it has an energy to it. Anyways, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Did you like it? Hate it? Wish I would stop talking? I do sometimes. Did you draw anything while watching this video? Tell me about it. I want to hear from you. Anyways, that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, really. As always, my name is Howdy. I've been your entertainment for today, and you, hopefully, hopefully have been entertained. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.